Hi there, and welcome back to the first episode. I know I had to refresh my mind there, but welcome to the first episode of season 2 of the It's Classified series. This is a series that began last year where we tier list, rank, grade anything in the world of football. So whether it be managers, players, transfer windows, kitmen, pitches, anything that you can think of in the world of football, we will be here to tier list them, rank them, and grade them according to our personal beliefs. So now, listen, this is probably our most controversial series because a lot of it over here is not objective. It's highly subjective. It's all to do with our personal opinions on on each matter. And yeah, it is going to be crazy because on this particular podcast, we're missing a guest right now, but he will join us later on. We've got three fans of clubs that basically hate each other. Okay, so we've got a Bayern Munich fan in Aniket, and we'll get to introductions in a bit. So we've got a Bayern Munich fan in Aniket. We've got a Chelsea fan in Sharat. I mean, as it is, things are boiling and heating up here. And then we've got a Barcelona fan in Aditya who will be joining us a little while later. So yeah, I couldn't think of anything better. We've got our BBC over here, and it's not the British Broadcasting Company. It is not what you think it is. It is something a lot more innocent here. And yeah, we're going to, I mean, the next hour is going to be packed with a lot of chaos, fun, biasness. Yeah, we're going to be, I mean, this series is definitely not without its biases. So it's going to be really, really crazy fun for the next hour or so. Before we get to introductions, what we're going to be listing today is the top 20 summer transfers in the 2022 summer transfer window, and this we're only going to be concentrating on men's football here. So we will probably do another separate edition for the women's football a little while later. We are a bit late on this. We'd ideally love to have had this post just after the window had closed on September 1st. I think it was. Yeah. We'd love to have it there. But I suppose this also helps us in a way because it's given us time to kind of see how these players have done over the past month or so. There have been a few matches, especially in August. September in the Premier League has already been sort of, I guess, not been the greatest of months because of the sad demise of Her Majesty the Queen. But we've definitely got Champions League football also underway. So, we've got a good view of the players that are going to be in this tier listing episode today. So we've got 20 summer transfers, like I mentioned. I'll soon be sharing the screen and talking through what the thought processes and what the processes in general while we grade it. But before that, let's start off with introductions. So Aniket, welcome to the podcast. It's been a while, I think. I remember we done a couple of midweek fixture episodes a year ago, or towards in November or so. So I'm glad we could have you on here once again. And why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, so again, pleasure to be on Friday again. I am a Bayern Munich fan. My name is Aniket, and yeah, I've been following my side for the last 10 years, and again, just good journeys, ups and downs, and so on. And yeah, again,
10
just really happy
years.
to be here.
I mean, 10 years reminds me of a certain event that happened 10 years ago.
Before that, just
11.
prior to that, but yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. And joining us, we've got Sharat. Sharat, welcome to the podcast. Glad we could have you on here. And why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
So my name is Sharat Nair. So right now I'm staying in Trivandrum in Kerala. So I've been supporting Chelsea since 2013, just after the so-called events just been mentioned right now. So yeah.
2013 is a good year for Aniket anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's also there. So yeah, very happy to be here and once again, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. And like I mentioned, we will be joined by Aditya, who is a Barcelona fan. So once he's on here, we'll try and get a quick introduction from him. And yeah, I think before we get to grading the summer transfers, I think a quick mention to those of you who are watching us live on this particular podcast. Hit the like button, do all of the necessary things, subscribe to the channel, but also get involved in the tier listing. We'd love to hear from you. Send in your comments. We'd love to hear from you what your thoughts are. And in case, we're four of us, or we're eventually going to be four of us on here. So we might come to a situation where we might need a tiebreaker. So to those of you who are watching us, send in your thoughts as well. And if you somewhat, you can influence our decisions as well. So you could be that all important tiebreaker in any sort of grading or tier listing that we're doing. So, all right, I think it's time that we get to grading these summer transfers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to obviously share my screen so that we've got everyone on here. Uh, do I do that? All right, great. Um, No, that's not ideal. Just give me 1 second. So just going to take up the overlay over there because that was going. Yeah, great. Awesome. So as you can see, we've got our 20 players that the pictures of whose pictures are here on the share screen. We've got 5 tiers that we've created. Now, they're more grades than they are tiers. But I suppose I can come up with a cool mnemonic device, I suppose, for all of that. So top E would be C would be can't really say much. B would sort of be bench player, but could be good as well. And A would be amazing, great value for money, bargain buys. I was gonna say bargain bucket, but that's KFC. That's not tier listing, right? So yeah, we're gonna. So in terms of how we're gonna rank them, we're obviously gonna look at how well they would fit into the squad, what their impact is going to be in terms of whether it be goals, whether it be clean sheets, whether it be solidifying defense, assists, defensive midfielders, also how they sort of fit into the system, as well as look at the transfer fee that they were bought for, because most of these guys were bought for really, really inflated fees. So we're going to look at whether they're actually going to be value for money or not, and we will accordingly grade them in today's episode. All right, great. So so guys, I hope you're all excited for this. And to those of you who are watching, like I said, let us know let us know what your thoughts are on these players in the chat box. We'd obviously pop them up here if it's anything that we think is worthy of mentioning, which is predominantly anything. So let's start off, guys, with the biggest signing of this summer transfer window, one that happened very, very late in the transfer window. And by the way, the transfer values have been taken from Transfer Market. It's a website that they've listed all of the values. So I'm going off them. Of course, we don't really know what the exact values are. We don't have the contracts with us. Now, the first player is Manchester United's Anthony. All right. Like I mentioned, a very late buy, a player who had been linked to Manchester United since the start of the window, but in typical Manchester United fashion, it took them to the end of the window for them to actually make a worthy bid and actually buy the player. And I want to know, guys, what did you make of the deal, first of all, and where do you think it goes? So, Aniket, let's start with you. Anthony to Manchester United from Ajax. What did you make of that?
Right. So I think it's a decent deal, right? My category for this is a clear C because, right. What are the positives? What are Man United looking at here that's given them that's led them to 100 million transfer fee? It's clear that He's a right winger, and they have a few. The only real option that they have over there is Jadon Sancho. So they wanted another option there, and he's a left footer, which they don't have enough of at all in their attack. So that's one of the reasons they've gone for him over there. But I don't think he's 100 million player at all. He's about 50 million. He's about 50 million in my opinion. One thing I'd say is about the something that is going to be a repeated theme with anyone who's from the Eredivisie. It's a big red flag league in my opinion, because almost all of their players, even world beaters, best Eredivisie players in the last decade or so, have come to stronger leagues, especially the Premier League, and have struggled. Steven Bergwijn did it. Memphis Depay did it for Manchester United. Both incredible players at that time. So if you're buying someone for 100 million, even for 50 million, you're thinking that guy needs to be the best, probably the best Eredivisie player that there is. Antony is decent. He's a very exciting player. He's got a lot of flair. But if you ask Ajax fans, they're going to tell you that he does lack consistency. He got 12 goal involvements in the previous season and 17 goal involvements before that. So
Aniket,
yeah.
I think there's something that is. I don't know, Sharat, can you hear? There's some sort of disturbance
some
from
disturbance.
Yeah, there's like a echo. Just try. I don't know if it's got to do with the phone or something. Just try speaking now. Let's just clear this up. Sorry.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Is it okay?
Just speak, Aniket, for some time.
Yeah. So that's what. Yeah. So that's what I was.
Something. It's still
something
there's some sort of like
a
beep or something that's happening. I'm not sure what that is though. Do you want to try rejoining it maybe with the Bluetooth thing and see if it works?
Is this a mobile?
Okay.
I think
it's on my mobile. Can I just speak? Just like to speak to me.
No, it's static noise that's coming. That's the problem.
Is it coming for you too, Sharat?
Yeah, bro. It's coming from me also.
Sure. I'll just have a look once.
Yeah. You can drop off the call and just join back in, because then it was getting a little too. I was trying to see whether there was something wrong with my headphones or not.
No.
But it was.
Yeah, I was also thinking that.
Okay, sure. Let's move on to you and get your thoughts on Antony. Like, as a Chelsea fan, seeing a rival club, especially Manchester United, buy someone for that sort of price, and someone from Ajax, someone that Erik ten Hag knows a lot about. What did you make of it, and where would you rank them on this?
So yeah, like considering what Aniket said, I also think C will be the best position, because the fee was such a huge fee, because 100 million. I don't think even Ajax players would be thinking that it's a great thing that they have got from that deal, and only cause Erik ten Hag believes that he has worked with him in the past and he knows the system and everything. I think with the best position. I don't know. I'm still considering what he said. The Eredivisie players coming here. I think only Christian Eriksen have been a success here. So Antony, it's a bit of on and off. I'm not confident enough he will be success right through the first game or something. But in against Arsenal, he was brilliant. He scored a goal and everything. So considering Manchester United, they wanted a right winger. They wanted an established winger, because they have some sort of deficiency in that position. So yeah, C will be the best position in my opinion. Let's see what will happen, how will he performs and everything.
Yeah, I think the biggest red flag, I mean, like Aniket mentioned, someone coming from the Eredivisie to... All right, great. So we have him on here. So could we... Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, why is it still happening though? Just try speaking.
Is it still happening?
No, 1 minute. Wait, try speaking now.
Is it happening still?
Now it's fine.
Yeah. Is it fine for you?
Yeah, I think, bro, Aniket, could you please keep it much closer to your mouth or something, speaker?
Yeah, all right, sure. I'll do that. Yeah.
Just try.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, I think C is the best position in my opinion for Antony.
I think it's better, right?
Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah. Okay. So just I'm gonna leave the phone like that. Maybe try just speaking that way. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. So C. Okay. So I'll move him to C because like we mentioned. So I think it's more his value, I suppose. So I think 100 million seemed. I don't know if see the thing is I don't know if it's called a panic buy because it wasn't sort of a last minute thing. They'd been scouting him for at least over 2 months or at least over a month. So they had their sights on him in terms of paying 100 million. I feel like definitely paid over the top. So Ajax got the best deal that they could from Manchester United. Again, questions need to be sort of asked to their scouting team, their negotiators, whoever's going out there and getting this done, because you've had 2 months to scout for cheaper players, some and all other alternatives. I don't know whether it is Ten Hag's sort of stubbornness to get an Ajax player because he knows them the best. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see how he does, like you mentioned. But he's off to a good start, like you mentioned, against Arsenal, a team that's been doing well in the Premier League. To have a debut goal bodes well for them. Of course, then since then it's not been smooth sailing for United. All right, let's move on now to the second player, and that is Wesley Fofana, another player that sort of it took a while for the deal to happen. A lot of rumors initially. Brendan Rodgers then sort of, uh, denying those rumors and saying that no, but Fofana was going to stay. But he ended up with what, 75 million, 80 million, I think, or yeah,
Yeah,
roughly around
mostly.
Close to
that.
that. Yeah.
It's not as much as Harry Maguire, so he's not become the most expensive defender, but I mean that bodes well for him. But is definitely around the 70 million mark. And Sharat, because you're a Chelsea fan, let's get the biases out of the way here. What did you make
Yeah.
of that deal, and where would you rank him? Someone that Chelsea required?
Yeah, obviously someone that Chelsea required, because obviously we know the Conte saga, how it went at the last, because we were at the back of Conte for so much time. It was so like frustrating for us, and we didn't get him over the line. So after that, we needed RCB, because obviously Tuchel used a three at the back system. So we needed RCB because of obvious departures of Christensen, who played there, and also the aging squad. Aspilicueta signed a new 1 year contract extension, but we couldn't really rely him for whole season. So we needed, that was a priority position, RCB. And I would say, like, even though I am a little bit biased, but before that also he was a great prospect for, while he was coming through the Leicester, he was great prospect for Leicester, because if you see, he has been one of the best players, because equally with events he has been performing consistently. And from the France days, Saint-Etienne days, he was having a great name. He was a very coveted player at that time also. So actually, besides Kunde, Kunde is also a great player. I don't know, maybe Kunde will be a better compared to Fofana at this stage, because of the experience and all the stuff. He's playing for Sevilla, and of course now also he's sticking well at Barcelona. So for
Yeah.
Fofana, I will put him in B. I won't be going for A or something. Like, B will be the perfect thing, because to taking the money, I think it's a bit overpriced. But consider the money, everything is a bit inflated at the moment. Getting players at the right price is not the trend nowadays. So yeah, B will be the perfect position in my opinion.
Especially young centre backs are they are difficult to find.
Yeah, yeah,
Of course, they've got Premier League experience that helps. You're getting them from a
Mhm.
Premier League rival that adds more transfer fee to the question and everything, to the negotiations. Sorry, and I think uh, Chelsea do require him. Thiago Silva is not getting any younger. You've got Koulibaly, who is, I suppose, the more older statesman like player that you got in. He is 29, 30, so he's
yeah.
got that enough experience. So you do need a youngster to sort of keep him company there. And thank God you didn't go for Kunde, because I don't think Chelsea could have risked having a triple K as their backline. The amount of memes. Honestly, it's something that, like, I've had discussions on the group. Like, you've had Kepa, you've got Koulibaly, and you'd have had Kunde. So,
Oh,
like,
well, I didn't think of that
honestly,
actually. Yeah,
yeah, I don't think many people thought of it, and I'm in part way glad for Chelsea that they didn't have someone like that, because as it is, we all know the stereotype surrounding the club
Yeah.
about how not so great of a fan base they can be. So to have, solidify that with the KKK brand, and of course Bayern would love to jump on that case because everyone's been, using that against them in, or not KKK, but like the whole that sort of
Yeah, that.
that thing, yeah, that. So to have that on Chelsea's, anyway, I don't want to get into all of that, but yeah. So for Chelsea, great. I'm glad that that didn't happen. But Aniket, I want to get your thoughts on Fofana and the deal.
Yeah, again, I really like him, but much like Anthony, I just feel like the price is a bit over inflated. I guess that's coming from um, buying from a Premier League rival, right? But there's a guy who's had one very good Premier League season and then had an injury hit next 2 seasons aside. And that's the thing. Like when you're paying around 80 million, 85 million for a centre back, you literally have every centre back in the world available to you. So I was between B and C. If there was a B minus, I would have definitely done B minus. I'm leaning more towards C. But more than the player itself, what I'm not getting is the thinking here behind getting Kunde. It's the approach from Todd Bowley just does not. I just do not understand it because um, if you're gonna play with Tuchel, you're gonna play a back three. So sure, you need Kunde after you saw not you they were after Kunde, they were after Delict. They want Fofana. That's fine. I have no issues with that. But then 2 weeks into the season, you sack Tuchel, and you say this has been coming for ages. And now Graham Potter is someone who uses a back four predominantly with Chelsea. He was going to use a back four predominantly with Chelsea. So that's what I don't understand, especially getting both Kukure and Kunde for high prices. That's what I understand. That's why I think it's not his fault, obviously, Kunde, Fofana's. But I think I would go for a C. I'm leaning more towards C. But if there was a B minus, I would probably said that.
All
So
right.
yeah,
Okay.
talking more about Fofana, actually, I don't know. Everybody knows actually, PSG were also behind him. So because of the price tag, only they backed out and they wanted him to sign for next summer. So he is actually like
I
for
mean,
Skriniar, yeah,
the
Skriniar.
day that the day that PSG back out because of a transfer fee is the biggest joke in football
Oh yeah,
history. But yeah,
now Lewis Campus, everybody is there. Like right-minded people are there
true.
at the helm
Yeah,
now because
yeah.
yeah, they were behind Skriniar, and the second option was Fofana. So obviously he has got that nice name all over the world. So yeah, it's a good buy.
Okay. All right. I think in terms of the need, like you mentioned, I think B would probably be there, but I'm sure there will be better players in the list that would be more deserving of a B. So what I'm going to do is, so the players that are towards the end of the B grade would be towards the right. So from left to right, it's more deserving of B and going to least deserving of B. So I'll put Fofana there for now. Um, Again, the transfer fee, I think I can live with Fofana's transfer fee more than I can with Anthony's, just because I feel like young centre backs are more difficult to find. Anthony winger, I mean, there are tons and plenty of them out there, so I don't think paying whatever 100 odd million or 80 odd million for Anthony was the right choice.
I think if the
But
price
like I
tag
said,
would have been much more lesser, like close to 60 million or something, I think it would have been solid B, no? Like
oh yeah,
100%.
I think yeah,
yeah,
it definitely does play. I think Fofana is a really good player, young youth, good for Chelsea as well to have alongside someone like Koulibaly. But yeah, the transfer fee was a little questionable. You talk about in the 50s to 60s, your home and dry
yeah.
B there.
Yeah.
Um, the next one is someone that I think has done so well so far, and I feel like personally I would kind of put him in the A category. But let's talk about him. He is Aurelian Chouameni. Chouameni, however you want to pronounce it. But yeah, for Real Madrid, again close to around 70 odd million, 70 to 80 odd. It depends on whether you're doing pounds or euros. Now, this is a player that I feel I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Real Madrid didn't think Casemiro is going to leave, but now that Casemiro has left, I think fits in perfectly with Real Madrid. And the reason why I'm not even that concerned about the transfer fee for Real Madrid is because they made, I think this is their first major midfield signing in a long time. I think Kamavinga, sure, you can add him to the list, but I feel like in terms of a defensive midfielder, they haven't dipped into the market. Like Modric, Kroos, and Casemiro was the go-to trio in that midfield. They hadn't changed it for a while. They had
Yeah,
Valverde and all those guys out there, but the fact that they've spent finally on someone like or Chouameni, it, and he's sort of paying him back already. So I think he's a really world class signing for Real Madrid. A bit peeved that I have to put him in A. I wish that Liverpool had signed him, and we know we were behind. I mean, Klopp
Yeah,
himself said
yeah.
that we were after too many, but he moved to Real Madrid. I think that's that's hurting me. I've seen him play, and I'm like, oh damn, like he would have been insane to have in the
considering the
squad.
midfield issues right now for Liverpool, he would have been
But you
perfect,
guys
right?
Exactly.
have,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a
Yeah,
perfect, like, we've already got Fabinho, but a perfect sort of a player to play alongside him, someone like, who could replace Henderson or someone for the
yeah, yeah.
long term. And yeah, it just came down to the price. Unfortunately for us, price does matter. And we were obviously outbid by Real Madrid. Not only that, I mean, Real Madrid were the UCL champions, so they had that going for them. And yeah, I think for me an A, but I want to get your thoughts on this. So Aniket, what
Yeah,
did you make of too many?
yeah, I really like him a lot. So I think I would go with A as well. And my reasons as follows: like, he's just so complete. You rarely see a midfielder at that age who you can't really put too many holes in him, in his stats, in the way you play, in the way he plays. And they put him as an insurance. They didn't think that Casemiro was going to leave. So you could ideally have Casemiro, Kroos, Modric in that team, and then after that have another midfield of Camavinga, Chouameni, and Valverde to play, to kind of complement that. And another thing that goes in his favor is his versatility. He can play as a six, he can play as an eight, and in a two or in a three. And he's got incredible numbers, really good ball winner, really good under pressure, very good passes. And this is one thing you need to think. So he was the star at Monaco, the guy who just because being the star, he was the one who used to get pressured a lot. He still has incredible pass numbers. He's one of them who can drive into the box and score goals. He's literally got comparisons from players as different as N'Golo Kante and even Gerrard. So that's the range of his abilities that he has. And I feel like, again, 70 million might feel like too much, but it's not. When you consider his age and the amortization that you have for a player in his contract, I think that's a really good fee. This guy could be there for a decade, and that could be a steal at that point. So I'll agree with you. I'll go A.
Yeah, just hurting me even more. Sharat,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to get your thoughts on this.
I can see your disappointment on your face. So yeah, actually, to show money, we were also behind him. We were scouting him for a long period of time, I think 2 years or something, while he was at Monaco. And Sex Fabregas, after he moved to Monaco, he was like just after he left Chelsea, he moved on to Monaco. So he was telling a lot of good things about him to our club, our hierarchy and everything. So at that time, the as Aniket said, he's only 21, 22 years of old. The maturity the guy is showing at the heart of the midfield, it's unbelievable. And in UEFA, the Nations League for France, he was, I think, man of the match in the final where they won against, I don't remember the opposition. So he's just
Spain.
matured footballer. Yeah, Spain, yeah. So he was a man of the match also. So the maturity he shows on the pitch is awesome. We wanted to have him, and Liverpool was also behind him. So it talks about how everybody rates him as a player. So it's obviously A for me. And considering now Casemiro left and he's been now, I think last 2 or 3 matches he's been performing very well. Germany as the holding midfielder or something. Before he wasn't comfortable with that position. I think in Monaco he was in a double pivot or something. But right now Ancelotti, because Casemiro left, he's trusted with that position and he's delivering
I think he
rewards for
and
that.
Kamavinga are also playing a sort of double play. He's sort of
Oh,
been playing a little more with
Yeah.
Kama in that midfield. With I don't think Cruz plays as a starter anymore. Maybe a couple of I mean, any Madrid fans can sort of correct me on that, but it's Modric, Kama, and Chouameni. But of course, Cruz is Cruz. So he will get to play some of the big games.
And
Yeah.
one more thing I'd like to say here actually is that his defensive numbers are insane. His tackles, interception numbers, and it's among the best in the top five leagues. And that's for someone who plays for a good team in Monaco, who played for a good team in Monaco. Around those players, the people who are around the top of that chart are always players from the bottom half of tables. People like teams from Hertha Berlin and Freiburg and those sort of teams were making it there. And I saw his name and I'm like, wow, this is someone playing for a good team, for a top tier team in France, and still coming up with crazy numbers for defense. So yeah, I think it's a solid year for me.
Yeah, I think his game
Awesome.
reading ability is awesome. Like playing in that middle heart of
Yeah,
we need that
100%.
game reading ability. Yeah, that anticipation for a player who is just 22 years old. It's brilliant. It's so mature.
Yeah. All right. Enough. All right. Yeah. Talking about more heartbreak, the next sort of player that we've got is Darwin Núñez for Liverpool, of course. Now, yeah, the reported was 100 million, but I suppose that's with add-ons. The actual fee was 65 to 70 odd million. So now I don't know where to put Darwin because honestly, he's confessed that obviously he struggled in preseason to, he was shy, he was nervous to play for Liverpool. He was all right. So yeah, and yeah, it was okay. But yeah, so Naeem says Modric, Cruz, and Chua current preferred starter. How about colors? Yeah, so Chua fix. Yeah, so yeah, Cruz and Kama, I suppose, are the sort of the changeable players,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
Fede, I suppose. Valverde, we have to mention him as well.
Yeah.
They're all part of it. But Fede has more positions that he can play, so he's a lot more versatile on that. Great. So let's talk about Darwin, and I mean, my thoughts are I'm not sold on it yet. I wasn't sold when we bought him. The only sort of uh, solace. I mean, see, preseason like I mentioned, he confessed that he wasn't very comfortable. Community Shield, he proved that he has it in him to score goals, and he was undoubtedly the player that changed the game against City. Again, the first game, I think he did well. He scored in his debut Premier League game, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And since then, it's not been great. He's obviously had that famous red card where he headbutted someone. I really don't think it was a headbutt, but it kind of fair enough. You can't go doing that around the pitch. I think Klopp needs to give him game time. At the same time, he's not adapted so fast. So I think he's sort of waiting in the sidelines to see in training how quickly Darwin can adapt. Liverpool's point of view, it's not been. See, the last time we had a proper number 9 striker was Benteke, didn't work out. Before that, we had um,
Suarez.
Balotelli,
Suarez and
definitely didn't
started,
work out.
Balotelli, yeah.
Balotelli, Lambert, we've had
Lambert.
Andy Carroll. So none of
Mhm.
them. I mean, since probably Torres, we've not had someone who's been a proper number 9 and who's scored.
Suarez, bro.
Sturridge, you could
Suarez
probably
and
say
Sturridge.
was a
Suarez.
no, but he's not a traditional number. Like
Okay,
he
right. I
became
get
that
what
in
you're saying.
Barcelona, but I feel like Suarez at Liverpool is more. He did everything. He was number 7. He was number 10. He was number
Okay.
9. So I'm saying a tall, target man is someone that
Target
we've never
man. Yeah.
had since Torres.
Focal
Sturridge was
point.
probably the closest, but Sturridge was half the time injured. So
Mhm.
I think Darwin Núñez is someone I'm not sold on. I know many Liverpool fans will probably, jump on the train and jump on me and say like, you don't know what you're talking about. But I wasn't sold on it. I still am not sold on him. He still needs to improve a lot, and I feel like he could probably be lower um, than Anthony in terms of C. I feel like the transfer fee is not that great as well, so I can't even blame that. Or it has been. It is pretty big, so I don't. But before that, quickly, Aditya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah,
I
loud and
can't
clear.
see you though.
Sorry?
I can't see you though.
Oh, wait, one sec. I'm trying to figure. It says that I haven't given permission through settings. How do I do settings? Is it like on?
It's a
Oh,
settings.
got it. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
go to settings. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, but
but
over there.
while you're doing that, Aditya, why don't you tell us a bit
Yeah.
about yourself?
Okay, so I am a junior doctor in the NHS in orthopedic surgery. I was born and raised in Dubai. Freddie and I have known each other for ages. And yeah, I'm just happy that he considers me a big Barcelona fan. I mean, big enough to be on his podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, you being a doctor is one of the world's biggest anomalies. I swear to God, if you knew him when he was in school, honestly, you would not think that he would be working for the NHS. But here he is.
Yeah.
But in terms of the Barcelona support, yeah, I
Yes.
completely would agree.
Yeah.
He is
There's no
also a
one. There's
huge
no one.
Messi fanboy.
Oh,
Aditya,
yes.
you are joined here on this podcast by a Bayern fan and a Chelsea fan. So good luck.
What, I heard the Chelsea fan. What was the other fan? I didn't hear it exactly.
Bayern
What was
Munich.
that? What? I don't know what that. Where's
You
that
know
come
the
from?
team
I
that
don't know.
beat you
Yeah.
a
You
couple
can,
of
yeah,
years
I'm
ago.
trying to. You know where this is going. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, I know. But we're not here to discuss that. We're not here to discuss that. All right.
Yes.
So
Wait, I'm still
let's talk.
figuring out how to switch on my camera. Unfortunately,
You figure that out. Settings.
it's
Settings. Go to the or no, it shouldn't. I don't know. You want to log off and log back on and see if
is it
you
see
can do that?
settings? I have
Yeah.
toolbar accessibility, download, site settings. Is it? Oh,
I
camera.
don't know where it is.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got
Okay,
it.
great.
Yeah, got it. Can you see me now?
Unfortunately, I cannot do. Not yet.
What?
Tune. Oh wait. Oh, I think Aniket dropped off. That was unexpected. Try getting on. Anyway, till then, let's talk. So we're talking Darwin Núñez, Aditya, and I was talking
Yes.
about how I wasn't really sold on Darwin Núñez.
Yes.
Didn't really believe that he was worth the money, and it was going to be difficult in the thing. So yeah, I thought he was going to be in C, in category C. Yet we've still got time. He's still a young player, but didn't really didn't really kind of excite me totally. So let's get Sharat's view on this. Darwin Núñez, when you heard that obviously Sadio Mane leaving and Liverpool getting a player like Darwin Núñez, who has done well in Benfica the previous year, what did you make of it?
Yeah, before Liverpool signing him, actually the performance he was showing for Benfica in Champions League was really good. Like against Liverpool, also he performed really well, and the numbers he's been putting up in like Portuguese league was very good. So before that, he has been a big name player. So when Liverpool signed, obviously because Liverpool wanted the number 9, as you told, because Bobby Firmino, for whatever reasons, he wasn't performing to that earlier levels he was performing. He wasn't consistent enough. So they wanted a number 9. So he was like before Liverpool signed, I thought it was a good signing, like not considering the amount and all. But now, since it's been like considerable amount of time where we can judge, not it's just start of season, but still, I don't think he has hit the ground running yet, because the comparison is with obviously the Erling Haaland. So whatever he's doing, that's superhuman kind of thing he's doing every single time he's stepping on the pitch. I don't think he has come to that level, not close to that level, obviously. So Nunes has to. I think now also the person who like Bobby Firmino is taking his place right now. If I'm not wrong, he's starting for games and he's coming on as substitute.
Yeah,
So
or we have Jota or someone else coming.
yeah.
on.
So I don't think still Klopp like trust him as to be the starting number 9 yet. So still there's a problem. Let's see what will happen in the future. So right now I think he will be in C. I think it's okay for me.
All right, Aniket.
Yeah, I rate him more than most people. I feel I don't think you should judge him just on the start. I think the thing is just a very un-Liverpool signing, isn't it? It's Liverpool always looking at smaller teams, trying to get their better players for sub 50 million values. So this kind of goes against that. But having said that, Darwin Nunez last season was phenomenal. He was very good in the Champions League, scored against a lot of big teams, scored against Bayern, of course. I think he got like 26 goals in Liga NOS. And I think Liverpool just seen how Luis Diaz has performed from Liga NOS to the Premier League, made that jump seamlessly. I think that's what they're looking for. And I think they're looking for a tough man. They're looking for someone who can provide that something different when things aren't going tough. I'm very big on this. I feel like when things aren't going well for you, when you're not able to create chances in and around the box, someone just hoofing long balls upfield.
I think your audio's off. I don't think I
Hello?
can hear you. Hello?
Can you hear me?
No, bro. It was okay for me.
All right.
Wait,
so
is everyone's audio off? Like, wait, I can't hear anyone. Hello?
Hello.
Wait, sorry, 1 minute. Just give me a second. Can you talk now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. I think I could hear my phone, my Bluetooth immediately connected to my phone, so there's something else going on there. Yeah, it was actually going on. Great.
Right. So that's what I was saying. I think he's had good numbers. He's a good dribbler, even if he doesn't look like it. He's got good pace. And but the only thing is, like, when you're 100 million, you're expected to perform immediately, and that's the issue with him. He's also got really good off the ball movement and stuff. But you can't help but think that 100 million that could have been spent better, for considering you can buy at least two midfielders. Your only lock right now in midfield, I would say, is Fabinho, and that's about it. Harvey Elliott's still coming along. You could have bought someone there. And so I was between C and D here, actually, even though I really like him. But I think I'm okay with C.
Okay. Aditya, what do you... hello? Can you hear me? Oh, your network's... Hi. Hello? Aditya, yeah? Can you hear me? Oh, no. Audio's weird. Hello? I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear it now? No.
No.
I can't hear you. Your audio, just make sure that you... Oh, no, you've gone off. Anyway. All right, so let's get him on the next one. So I'm just going to put Nunez at C. And of course, he'll know the next one quite well. Hello? Can't hear you. I don't know why I can't hear you. Hello?
Sit on mute or something. It's just...
Have you changed your settings or your... No, you're not on mute. I can see you. You're not on mute. What's your audio? Just check your audio. No? Yeah, okay. No, I can't hear you now. I can lip read you, but I can't hear you. I still can't hear you. I can't hear you. I swear, I'm not playing games here. I don't have time for playing games here. I can't. Hello? Okay, fine. Let's talk about Casemiro now. This is a player that's moved from Real Madrid. One of the most surprising moves of the summer transfers. I didn't really expect that he'd move to a team like Manchester United, especially, given the recent troubles and all of that. I just wanted to know, let's quickly talk about this because we've got plenty more players to go. So, Aniket, Casemiro, how good is he and where would you rank him?
I'm between B and C here, actually. United have badly required a DM, but he's the sort of DM that fits what Erik ten Hag wants to do. He's a decent passer he's a bit better than league average for La Liga. He's a bit better than Fred. Of course, he's got insane defensive numbers when it comes to just all the defensive stats and stuff. And he's obviously much better than Scott McTominay and Fred. But again, I just don't know. I think what Ten Hag's looking for here is just someone who can shield the back four, and then he could probably play Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes in front of him to get ball progression midfield. So it's a tough one considering he's 70 million, he's 30. It's kind of reminiscent of when they signed Nemanja Matic, when he was one of the best DMs in the league, and he was just on a downward slope. So I'd hope United fans it's not that for them. And again, I just don't understand thinking behind this. They were linked to Frankie De Jong, they were linked to Rabiot, they were linked to Milinkovic-Savic. It's all different kind of profiles, which is just they're just throwing darts and it's landing up somewhere and they're picking that player. And so, of course, Casemiro is a really good player, but 70 million for a 30-year-old player who may not fit into Ten Hag's system. So I'm going to go C here. I'm closer to C than B.
But a better C than Anthony and Darwin?
Oh, okay. We have Ragnar there as well. Okay, I'd say a better C than Darwin and Anthony. Yes.
Okay. All right. I don't think we still got Aditya on here, but Sharat, Casemiro.
Yeah, I think sort of contrasting opinions for me. I think he will go straight up to A. Like I thought, I thought
Okay.
it's a brilliant signing. I think it was so late up at the window, but still, a brilliant catch. I didn't know he will end up at Manchester United, of course. And previous season also he was UCL winner. I think I rate him as the best defensive midfielder in the world actually. So getting that guy to fix the position of DM, obviously close a solution. But the only thing is he's not fit for like Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag wants to play in position-based football, and only deficiency he has got is on the ball, the passing, the distribution, and everything. He has improved up in last 2 years under Carlo Ancelotti, but still there is a iffy thing in that department. But still, the main thing, the McTominay and Fred, the Manchester United and Manchester United fans have been calling out for a better DM than those two. So obviously, that's a huge upgrade over there. And I think, yeah, he's a decent passer. It's not that average of a passer. But yeah, I think he will go up.
Okay. Aditya, can we hear from you now?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes, I can. Your screen though, just you need to turn it a bit because it's a bit too stretched out. You're like stretched out. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
That's okay. Wait,
Awesome. So you know Casemiro the best amongst the four, like between the four of us. I think. Yeah. Given that you're yeah, that's fine. Just keep it steady.
I'm trying to. 1 second, bro. Sorry. 1 second.
Yeah. Cool.
Wait, how about now?
Yeah, it's fine now. If you just move it a bit far. Yeah.
It's fine now. Okay.
Yes. Okay. So, we're talking about Casemiro to Manchester United, and I want to get your thoughts on that deal. And you know Casemiro a lot better than I suppose the three of us. How vital a signing was it for Manchester United, and where would you rank him on a grade from A to F? Where would you rank him?
See, undoubtedly, Casemiro is one of the best midfielders in the world. Even putting aside how much I dislike him, I do respect him because you have to give credit where it's due, and he is a solid midfielder. He has turned games around for Madrid. He and Modric probably have been, apart from Ronaldo, of course, have been the most impactful players in Real Madrid over the last 10 years. All of those Champions League trophies, especially the ones they won 3 in a row. Yes, it was down to Ronaldo at the end of the day scoring all those goals, but Casemiro definitely played an instrumental role in that midfield. And Man United at the moment are going through a transition phase, which every single club has to go through.
They've been doing that for the past 5 years, 6 years. They've been going there actually for the past 10 years now. It's already been 10 years since.
I mean, the thing is that I think the management has made some blunders. First of all, in this transition shouldn't have lasted this long. It should normally last maybe 2 or 3 seasons, but it's gone on for this long because there was mismanagement of funds. I don't think the owners are interested in the best interest of the club because they're sitting, somewhere else, not giving a shit about it. And,
we're talking about Manchester United, not Barcelona.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. That's what I said. We do care. That's what we're going to the pinnacle of European football this season. Yeah, trust me. So Casemiro definitely is a great addition, no matter which side he goes to, especially to a struggling United right now. Is not a step back. I would would say definitely it's a step forward. And if they get Frankie de Jong, it's going to take them, the midfield is going to look, with Ericsson, it's going to look delicious
Yeah,
in
that's
the Premier
actually true.
League.
Okay, so where would you rank them from? Rank their move from A to
A to F.
Yeah. So A being the best, it's making sense, proper, like amazing transfer,
Yeah,
to F being a
yeah.
flop transfer.
So Casemiro to United, you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say a B.
Okay. Wow, we've got A, B, and C.
Okay.
Yeah,
Tiebreaker
brilliant.
time.
Tiebreaker time. I think he I get Aniket's point that for a long term it's not great, but I think in this
See, the
business,
thing is,
what is long?
With Casemiro, you need to win now. What is this United squad going to win now? Unless they stack pad a Carabao Cup somewhere here or there, you need impact from him in the next 2 years. Otherwise, that transfer fee is just not correct.
But I feel like it may not result in wins, but I feel like it might actually strengthen that particular part of the field for now. Now the thing is, if you look long term, is Ten Hag going to be there long term? We don't know. He might only be 2-3 years down in the line. So it's going to be tough that way. I feel like it's the right signing. They needed a DM. Yes, Frankie de Jong would have been the ideal one, a surefire A. But Casemiro, with all the wealth of experience, I feel if not it may not result in trophies, it may not result, but I think it'll make it better. And I feel it's not that big a stretch because you've got McTominay, Fred. It's like the standard is not that great anyway. But I think it's similar to Fofana where it's required. The transfer fee is not the greatest given the age more than anything else. I probably put him after Fofana because of the age. That's the only reason I'm putting him in B post Fofana. So I suppose, except for Sharat, I am satisfying people's sort of wishes here. Okay, the next one is a very interesting one. I don't know how I pronounce. I don't know if it's Isaac or Isaac, but it is a blinder of a pull. Isaac, yeah. So a blinder of a pull from Newcastle. You know, you're talking about the new Saudi money coming into the club and revitalizing it. Could it be a new PSG? You needed to start somewhere. Of course, people say start from a manager's perspective, but you get a good signing, a young signing like Isaac, who's proven himself in La Liga. And I wanted to know, Aditya, what did you make of that move? What do you make of the move? Is it a good signing by Newcastle?
100%. Newcastle, I'll tell you something now, is going to be like the next Leicester City in the next couple of years in the Premier League.
That's believable. Thank God you didn't say anything greater than
No.
But good enough. Fair enough.
Because first of all, money is king, and money is what attracts everything that moves in the football world. And when you have something Saudi backed, of course, it's gonna pull even more interest. Isaac is definitely watching him over in La Liga. He is definitely someone who is. I think he plays more direct football than a lot of the other players. That's what you need, and with the players around him, like say Maximan, and especially with saying Maximan in there, who's another direct player. When the play, that's what Messi. What's the best thing about Messi? They say is that even when you're 2-0 up, he goes to the goal. He's have to because that's the comparison. Like. So you play a direct approach of football, you're gonna have more results. So definitely a big signing for Newcastle, exciting signing for Newcastle.
And in terms of a ranking,
because he's not very experienced, and because of a lot of factors, and he still has to prove himself. Like there's potential, but he hasn't proven himself. You know what I mean? So I would put it a C because I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt that he can do better.
Fair
and
enough.
It's a good place for him.
I'm going to ask you guys just if you guys agree with this. We got others as well. So Aniket, agree with the C?
Yeah. he's a really good player. He's had season, the one just before the Euros. He was terrific. But last season he kind of dipped. He's got like 0.5 goals and assists per 90, which is pretty good for a young, which is decent for a young striker. This again is the price, and again I think we're going with Premier League money, so it may be active, but still, I feel like Newcastle are not going to get relegated this season, so they didn't have to. They're essentially paying a panic price for someone who's not a panic buy. So that's where my issue with this deal is. So I think I'm happy with the C, considering he's still a really good player. And my other thing with this is that even if they get Isaac, I still think Eddie Howe has really likes Callum Wilson, so he's going to Nelson when he's fit. He doesn't stay fit. That's another thing. But they've tried to send Maximan up front, so I don't think this was. They didn't need to pay a panic for a player like him right now. They could have just waited and probably got someone else, or maybe himself next summer. And I think that's where it becomes a C. Anything lower than that it would probably been a B easily.
Yeah.
Okay. Sharat?
Yeah, it's C for me also. Like, yeah, it's
Okay. All right. So I think, do we put him before Anthony or after?
No, he's after.
So just after. Yeah.
Just after. Yeah. Okay, great. Awesome. So now we're talking about Matthijs de Ligt. Again, I did not see this move coming. I thought Bayern would be all right in the defensive department. I'm obviously having de Ligt it's a really good signing. Solidifies that defensive line, which I felt was Bayern's weakness over the past couple of years. Up front and in midfield, they're a completely different animal. Like when they had Lewandowski and all of them. Now, of course, they've got Sadio Mane, who's not on the list, but we've got Matthijs de Ligt and Aniket. How excited were you with the signing of de Ligt?
Oh, very, very. When he was at Ajax, he was among that group of youngsters. He was my favorite, even more than De Jong, even more than Van der Beek and Ziyech and etc. Whatever. I think he was my favorite, just purely because he's so unique. As a 19-year-old, he was captaining Ajax and leading them to a European semi-final while being so good. He read games so well in defense. After that, he went to Juventus and things kind of stagnated for him there, but he had mitigating circumstances. He had 3 different managers in 3 different years. He had to play different systems. He played a back 3, he played a back 4. And the main issue he had was he was playing alongside Leonardo Bonucci, who had all the freedom in the world to play kind of long passes. And because of that, de Ligt's game was kind of limited at Juventus, and that's why he's kind of plateaued. But he made it very clear he wanted to join Chelsea, Bayern Munich. He was linked to Chelsea as well, and he didn't mind taking lesser wages just to get to Bayern, and that's what really wins fans over. And we were linked with him even when he was at Ajax, so I really like the move more so than anything else because it sparks a competition in the squad now. People like Upamecano, like Lucas Hernandez have to raise their game themselves. And you've already seen that Upamecano, who had a terrific game against Barcelona, he is prone to errors from time, but so is de Ligt. So more than anything else, it sparks that competition in the squad. But like I did with Fofana, I have to mention the price tag isn't as good, so I need to be fair here. And so I'm between a B and C, and I'm going to go with B.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Sharat,
So,
would you
I
agree
will also,
with B?
yeah, B is the right thing because considering the price, it's close to 100 million if I'm not wrong.
67.
Yeah,
67. Okay.
I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah.
much lower
Including
than
add-ons
the
or
rest of
something?
the-
Add-ons.
Yeah, there are a few add-ons, but it's around 67, 68.
Okay, fine. Then yeah, it's a solid base. So obviously we were also behind him under Tuchel. Tuchel liked him. The most of the players we've been linked with. So I have been repeating
Yeah.
the sentence over and over again. So Delight is such a like modern CB. What all characters we need as in a modern CB. He has got that. He's brilliant on the ball. He's very strong. He's fast. He's agile. It's everything. And so yeah, considering the Bayern Munich issues, like the defensive issues, I think he will do very good up there. It's a great signing.
Okay, Aditya, could you just lower your camera slightly low?
Should I come
There
ahead?
we go. Yeah, just do that. Just do that. Yeah, okay. A B for De Ligt. The De Ligt transfer?
Considering his age and he's so young, he's got a wealth of experience under his belt already. Being that young, he's played in the big games, and he is a leader, a born leader. And he is. When you ask a coach, you don't prepare for the European nights when you're going to be 2-0 ahead. You prepare for the European nights when you're going to be 2-0 behind. And then who do you want in your team? You'd want De Ligt in your team. So definitely a good signing. Haven't reached the GOAT levels. I would put him in a B. But Juventus has destroyed his career, which is another thing. But yeah, he still has a bright future ahead.
All right, great. Now we move on to Cucurella, and a player that City were very close to signing, and then this time Chelsea got the upper hand by signing him for 50 million. Uh, I don't know about the add-ons and all, but 50 million, we keep it around that. And so, yeah, I don't know whether Chelsea necessarily required him or what the thinking was, because I suppose because with Alonso leaving and probably Aspilicueta getting old, the fullbacks did need a sort of revamp. But you did have Chilwell, you did have Reece James, so I'm not entirely sure as to why. But I mean, he had a fantastic season with Brighton, and now he's reunited with his Brighton manager in Graham Potter. So I'm expecting him to do better, or I'm expecting him to do good things at Chelsea as long as Potter is in the club. So Sharat, let's get your thoughts on this. So what kind of a signing is Cucurella?
So yeah, obviously I was very excited with the signing. If you talk about if we needed that sort of player, because we needed that, because in left wing back it was only Chilwell. So quality backup. I don't rate Alonso much. Thankfully, he has gone to Barcelona. So and Emerson
Yeah,
also
we
is
saw him a few days ago.
Emerson also, like, he's not getting much game time. I don't think he will start even if someone was injured or something. So Cucurella, we wanted that. We wanted that depth, squad depth. If we are going for all competitions, winning all the titles, we want that squad depth. And he's a quality player. I want a quality backup to have. So obviously, if Pep Guardiola rates a player, then that's a sort of a big thing to have in your CV. So I don't know if we wanted him at the first place, but only after City, all that drama was going on, and City weren't willing to pay that price. Todd Bowley like chipped in and paid the price on the table. Like everything was sorted out very quickly. So he's also very versatile. That's another characteristic that everyone rates him. He can play due to the three at the back system. He can play at the left center back, and he also played so many multiple positions under Graham Potter. So right now, Graham Potter has come to the hem. So it will be obviously, I think he would have wanted him as a player if we would have gotten him.
Correct.
So obviously a great
Yeah.
signing.
Okay. Where on the ranking would be?
Yeah, I think C will be fine.
C. Okay. All right. Aniket, would you agree with the C, or would you going higher?
I expect him to go B, to be honest. I'm going to go B first. And I would have gone C. I would have gone C probably a week back if Tuchel was the manager. And the reason I say that is he suits exactly what Graham Potter wants to do. I watched a bit of yesterday's game, and he was playing with that hybrid back three, back four system where these James was playing as a right back / right wing back, and then Cucurella just kept staying in that position, didn't go forward as much. So I feel like that's his best position. He's got great pass numbers from the back. He's a decent centre back, a good left centre back option in a back three. So as it turns out, with Graham Potter coming in, I have him as a late B, if not, yeah. So I'm going to go with B.
Okay. Aditya, would you agree on this with the same?
He has been a terrific player. He's definitely been one of the best wing backs in the Premier League last season as well, for how much difference he made in Brighton's attacking sort of play. The only thing that's holding me back from putting him in B, I'm putting him in instead of putting him in C instead, is that his price tag. I think it was too much. I think he hasn't reached. If you're going to pay 60 mil for De Ligt, who has proven himself in European nights, are you going to pay 50 mil for a Cucurella, who's undoubtedly amazing,
but I guess Premier League transfer fee does come into play where you're getting it from
from
within the league.
League
Okay, I understand where you're going.
It's a fair point.
I am in agreement. I agree with you that it is on the higher side, especially. I think if Man City say no to 50 million, you kind of know that it's a little too much. But Chelsea, like Shad mentioned, did require. So it's C, B. I'll put him at B because I feel like at the end of B, I feel like you did mention with Chilwell only being there, Alonso not being there, he does, and with Graham Potter, that is a big consideration
Yeah.
to make.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Potter is now the not the
Chelsea
captain, but
manager.
the coach, so Chelsea managers. So,
Yeah.
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 All right, I think the next one can we just skip and put him as A, because I think
Yeah,
we
that's
all
pretty obvious.
know Erling Haaland. After
Oh,
yesterday's
okay.
goal,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no sort of any other,
There's
you
not.
know. I mean, I
Oh
was
God.
praying that and I'm going to put him before Tchouaméni because I feel with Jesus gone, and I think Haaland is.
Maybe if
I
there
had
was an
his.
A plus also, it would have been fine, no?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
both of them would have gone to A plus, but Haaland is just like
Wait, who's the first
I
one in A?
Tchouaméni, Aurelian.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's because we also took into consideration the Casemiro left, so he was
Yeah,
required
yeah.
at that one.
Yeah,
But Haaland, I mean, Jesus left, and Aguero unfortunately left for Barcelona and then had that issue, health issue. But I think if you wanted a striker, I know now it's only they say 75 million, but I know there are hidden costs in there. But this guy will repay you back. Now, I'm a bit surprised that none of like a Real Madrid or someone else like a Barcelona didn't go, or even Bayern Munich didn't go, full on hammer for Erling Haaland. Like I mentioned,
Bayern
there
did.
Bayern, no, but I'm saying that I
Haaland
think
chose
there
City.
are.
There's a reason Lewandowski left us is because of our public pursuit of Haaland. So, yeah, it hurts.
Oh.
Yeah, but I felt like no. I mean, I guess the father angle with City did play some part in it, and now that Mino Raiola isn't there with us anymore, rest in peace. The father of obviously he does play a very important role in Erling's career. Of course, suggested Man City, and with the way Man City are going, I mean, it was undoubtable. I laughed when post the Community Shield that everyone was saying that Haaland it wasn't as good because Nunes did out that game. But I was saying, come on, man! The number of chances he had itself was a clear indication of how well he was going to adapt, and he has taken the league by storm. I'm scared now for Salah's record in the Premier League because I feel like Haaland, unless he gets injured or something, he's just going to break it like eyes closed. And this guy's nothing. He's 22 years or 23 years old, so you never know. All right, so let's move on now to the player that I dislike the most in football nowadays, the pigeon that is Richarlison. He has moved to, honestly, like I hate him more than Wayne Rooney. And Wayne Rooney's played for both. No, with Wayne Rooney, and Wayne Rooney's played for Everton and Manchester United, and like he was played for both the rivals. This guy is the most obnoxious, overhyped player that I've ever seen. And he might do well for Brazil. Now, for the national team, unfortunately, he does well, so I have to commend him on that. But he has moved to Spurs now under Antonio Conte. I want to get your thoughts on that. So, Aditya, Richarlison, I think you guys were after him as well for a while. So, what do you make of that move to Spurs?
Honestly, I think I don't know why we were after him because I as well. I'm not a big fan of his sort of his gameplay, his style of playing. He's not calm and composed as a Brazilian striker should be in front of goal. I would say normally when you see a Brazilian striker, you see like Ronaldo, Rivaldo, Robinho, and then I wouldn't put Richarlison in the same category. You know what I mean? He's sort of a sour taste in the mouth. Yeah. So I mean, I'm glad we didn't go for him. I'm glad a club that is not going to win trophies anyways got him. So he's not going to contribute much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would say he's like an E probably.
Okay. Aniket, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I just feel like the price point is the price tag's the tipping point for me. I feel it's way too much. He's a very good presser. He played for a really poor Everton team, to be fair, but his numbers, even like getting into positions and his shot numbers, his goal numbers, not really good at all. I think the positive in what Spurs are doing here is that they want insurance for Harry Kane because they've tried. When you have someone as good as Harry Kane or Robert Lewandowski in your team, it's hard to have a replacement. You can do one of few things. One thing you can do is go for someone who's really old, Fernando Llorente. They've tried that. You can go for someone who's unproven and who doesn't mind being a bench player, like Vincent Janssen. They've tried that. The only other thing you can do is have someone who's versatile, who can play on kind of wide, but also play centrally, and that's what they're trying to do with Richarlison. This is their last option now. So that's what they're trying to do here, but I just don't see it. He's kind of here, but not there, and I'm not really sure on, and especially with the price, I'm not sure of it at all. So I'm going to go with D.
Okay. Or E, yeah. Honestly, like I thought Calvert-Lewin would have been a better option for a backup for Harry Kane, English striker, target man. I get and I feel that is the reason they bought him, which is the insurance for Harry Kane. Whether in a year's time Harry Kane will leave, but in which case, again, I don't think you see Richarlison actually sort of leading the line like Harry Kane does. I don't see him sort of scoring the goals that Harry Kane does. He's not going to drop back as Harry Kane does as well nowadays. So all in all, yeah, I think E and Richarlison, you can come at me on Twitter like you normally do. You can tag Jamie Carragher like you always do. But yeah, I really don't see it happening.
The thing is, they went from Bergwijn to Richarlison.
Yeah.
I think that's like selling your Ferrari for a Tata Nano. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
This sound great.
Sharat, would you agree with the E?
I think no, not E. I think I will go for C because I am considering all the opinions said by. I don't think many of them are fan of Richarlison, but so we were also slightly interested in him. So I'm gonna repeat this over and over again. So
I am still going to put E because you've been outruled, but fair enough. Go on and explain your decision.
Okay, so because Richarlison has got that, like we want that Diego Costa sort of character up front, right? He's so fiery. He's that. Because Everton was the team was so poor, so it was at the back end of the season. It was really like we didn't know they would be staying in the Premier League or not. But he was right there as a leader up front. He was scoring all sort of goals and everything. It's being that leader up front, so we also want that in the team. And I think the reason why Tottenham like bought it because of like insurance when it comes to having a backup, and also when he's called up and he can like play. For example, Son and Harry Kane always been there as the stalwarts of Tottenham Hotspur, so they don't have a proper anyone close to that talent level when they are going to search in the bench or something. So Richarlison is that sort of player. He's not gonna replace Harry Kane or something, and he's not gonna replace Son, but he's like he can be a sort of stopgap solution for the rotation, everything that can do. Conte has got like great options for him.
Fair enough. All right, we now move to the first Barcelona player I think on our list, and that is Rafinha. I don't really see why. He's a decent player. I mean, Leeds, he did well for Leeds. Did Barcelona need him? Not really. Did they? I probably because for Dembele, but did they need to pay 60-odd million? I don't think so. That was sort of a little too much for a player like Rafinha. And for a while, they weren't even sure if they could register him. They finally did, and he played. Aditya, I want to get your thoughts on this. What do you make of that deal?
See, I'll give it to you in writing. You ask any Leeds fan. I have a Leeds fan, my colleague who works with me, and I asked him. He's like from Leeds, so he's a proper Leeds fan. I asked him, would it be right to say that you guys only stayed in the Premier League because of Rafinha? And he said, undoubtedly, the goals he scored, the points he won for them single-handedly, kept them alive in the Premier League. Now, for someone who saves a team and keeps them in the division, in the top league, I think a 55 million tag isn't bad, especially for a player who's established himself in the Premier League. You know what I mean? He's young. Did you see the first goal of his against Madrid in the first Clasico that he played? Out of nowhere, he struck a 40-yarder out of nowhere, top bins, top right-hand corner.
Wait, when did you played? When did you play Real Madrid?
Madrid in the Clasico when we won 1-0. His was the only goal that was scored. It was like a friendly. It was the first Clasico, and that itself sums up Rafinha in a nutshell. He can score goals from anywhere on the pitch. if he wants. And that's what we need. Sometimes there are games that are going to be stalemates. Defenses are getting better now tactically. You're going to find it hard. You need that one moment of magic from somewhere, and that's what he brings. And that's what I think he's justified. And I would put him in B, actually.
Okay. All right. Sharat, would you agree with what Aditya had to say?
I totally agree because I'm sort of fan of Rafinha also. We were desperately behind him. Uh, that saga was so frustrating for us. Oh God, each and every day,
Yeah.
each and every hour, different journalists would be saying he's close to Chelsea, he's close to Barcelona. Oh God, and at last it was like, oh, please go to somewhere, let it get done with, something like that. So yeah, Rafinha, I think the way he performed at least under Bielsa first season, he took the league by storm because he was sort of before that he wasn't a big name or something, but after in the first season he performed brilliantly. The attacking metrics, the everything was so good. He was a good presser. He's got big flair on the ball, assist, like good left foot, assist, goals, everything he can provide. And now also for Barcelona, he's starting on the right hand side and he's playing really well actually. So I think it's a solid B. It's a very good signing.
Okay, yeah. Naeem's talking when Aditya mentioned about the impact that he could have. Naeem's written on the chat saying, "Yes, we saw that against Bayern." Fair enough. All right.
He played well.
He did a play. Okay.
I think
Look,
Alfonso Davies
who's this genius who's judging him on one game? That even Lewandowski, did you see the chances he had and he missed? Would you say he's shit? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Everyone has that one day. You know what I mean?
That genius is Naeem, and you know him. So.
Oh, Naeem. I didn't hear. Sorry, Naeem will keep talking shit because he has a Madrid DNA in him. You know. That's what.
Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Okay. So Aniket, would you agree with B?
Yeah, I think we can go with like a late B in my opinion. The only doubt I had was did they need to extend Dembele and get Rafinha for 60 million? That was the only thing that I was worried about because they need to shore up both their fullbacks, and that's the only thing I had with him. Rather than that, I really liked him for Leeds. He was a very good ball progressor. He's actually very good when it comes to intensity of his press as well. I was impressed with that against Bayern. Bayern weren't able to play out in that first half, partly because of Rafinha's press up front, and he had two good shots on goal as well. So yeah, I'm fine with a late B in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I can. I couldn't hear you through that, but yeah, I could hear you.
All
right. Let's move on now to Lisandro Martinez. Now, obviously, there were a lot of talks of him being the shortest centre back in the Premier League with his height and all of that. But he's proven to be quite prominent, quite a solid centre back for Manchester United. Of course, with his inclusion, we've not seen Harry Maguire that often, and when he's played, they've won most of the games. He's quite solid defensively, even from an aerial standpoint. I think he's decent. So all in all, a decent buy. And of course, Manchester United did need someone because their defensive, frailties were shown under Ole, right? With Harry Maguire there, Lindelof wasn't. Both of them didn't gel. Bailly was okay, but he was injured half the time. So I think a much needed player for Manchester United. Not sure if he's the right sort of mold. He's not the most imposing sort of person, but he was also an Ajax, right? So I think another sort of Eric Ten Hag criteria met there. Aniket, what did you make of Lisandro Martinez's signing, and where would you rank him?
I think I'm thinking B here because I don't quite see the height allegations that people throw up at him because when you're short, what do you need to be? You need to be a good reader of the game. You've seen people like Cannavaro and Puig being short, being good centre backs, and he's got that. You need to be ahead of the game. You need to read the game well. You need to fly into when you're getting into headers and stuff. Obviously, there's going to be instances where you're going to be beaten physically as well, like we saw for the Brentford goal. But to counterbalance that, he's got a very good passing range, and he's a very good ball player. He's got decent pace while turning, which is something that Harry Maguire didn't have. When someone like Ten Hag plays a high line for Manchester United, anyone who plays any kind of through ball causes problems for them because Harry Maguire is slow on the turn. That's something Lisandro Martinez isn't rapid, but he's good in short spaces. So, and again, he's a would-be leader, something that they needed in the backline. So I'm fine. I'm good with the B.
And where in B would you put him roughly?
Somewhere in the middle,
Before
I'd say.
Casemiro? Yeah, before. I think, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Okay, Sharat, would you agree with that rating?
Yeah, B. I was also going for B because before like Arsenal was also interested in Arsenal, and Manchester United was at the time interested in Lisandro Martinez.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
before considering the price tag, it was 60 million something. But still, after considering the performance he's been putting, he's been brilliant. So 2 man of the match awards or something consecutive, and also against Liverpool, Arsenal, and he performed brilliantly. And he's sort of like building a partnership with Rafael Varane now. It's a great duo
Yeah,
complementing each
Varane
other.
is there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So after all this performance he's been putting, I think B will be a great option right at the middle.
Okay. Aditya, would you agree with that?
1 second. I'm just trying to sort out some audio issues.
I can hear you fine, but is that fine? A B rating in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. So
I would
let's
give
quickly
Lisandro
now.
Martinez a B. Yeah.
Okay, great. Now let's talk about Raheem Sterling. Again, someone that not really was on my radar that would move, but surprisingly decided to move to Chelsea from Manchester City. I would say an inspired, sort of a good move for Chelsea to get someone with that experience, that sort of winning mentality, in a player with that mentality into the team. And of course, with Timo leaving, and Pulisic and Ziyech not really being in Tuchel's radar at that point of time, Sterling was a good buy if you were going to sell them. And I want to get your thoughts on that, Sharat. How good of a signing do you think he's going to be, and where would you rank him?
I think it's an excellent signing considering it was sort of bargain, I would say, because considering all the whopping sums of money people have been buying, 47 million, that's sort of bargain. I don't know why Man City didn't ask more than that. He's been proven winner, sort of like under Pep Guardiola. As we know, he's the sort of top three in most goals scored under Pep Guardiola. Even though in the last season he was not in the first option, before that he's been scoring goals left, right, and center. So he's sort of that figure, that close to world class, that sort of personality, that player we wanted at the club. And because of all the winger issues, the attacking issues we've been having since, like, yeah, Tuchel, the downfall after that, so we wanted that sort of player to be right up there, and like scoring goals for fun. And he's had a good
Uh,
start, even though
See, yeah. I mean, scoring goals for fun is not something that is in Sterling's terminology. That's the one sort of weakness I still feel like he needs to overcome. He gets the ball up to the final third brilliantly. But unless it's an easy tap and goal, I feel like he does need to work on his finishing a lot more. And we saw it in Man City. So I'm not blaming him only when he moves to Chelsea that he completely forgets his shooting boots. But it's something that I feel is still lacking. So I don't think if Chelsea bought him to score goals, I don't think that's a great sign. If he bought him to replace like a Pulisic or Ziyech in terms of, on the wings and trying to fasten the play and all of that, then yeah, brilliant,
yeah,
very
I
good
think,
sign.
yeah, more than goals, we had to have that sort of player because, as you said, Pulisic, Ziyech wasn't working, Timo Werner wasn't working, so he left
Yeah.
our club. So we wanted sort of that player to be involved in the final third. And after the downfall of Tuchel, we weren't having so much like joy at the final third. So we wanted that player to make something happening. So do that flare thing or something. So yeah, I think he's that sort of player. I would, considering the 47 million and all the wealth of experience under Premier League and all the goals he scored, I think he should be up there at A.
Okay. Aniket,
Yeah,
would you agree?
I'm the same. I'm going to go with a late A for me because I'm a big fan of Sterling. Like you mentioned that his finishing is something that lets him down, but even having said that, his numbers are still incredible. So I know he plays for Man City. I know
Yeah.
in a team that plays really well, sure, but and also you mentioned that he needs the score tap-ins for him to score goals, but that's something that you need to credit him for, is that he gets into these positions very, very often. So even if he doesn't get his share of goals, if you look at the underlying numbers, the expected goals, they're really high. So in seasons that he's not performed well, for example, 2021, he had underperformed his expected goals by a lot, where he just had a bad finishing season. So I really like the move. And more than anything else, he's just better than what Chelsea have right now. I like Aubameyang too, but before Aubameyang, I just didn't trust any. When Mason Mount is your best forward, you've got issues there. So I'm good with Sterling, and I think I'm going to go with a late.
Aditya, would you agree? Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. I don't think he's an A, but I would definitely give him a B because I'm not sure if Chelsea was the right place for him to go because I feel like Chelsea play very different football from City, the style of play and everything considered.
Though with Graham Potter, I think that's a little more in line now.
Okay, yeah, okay. I was thinking of it from
with
from
Tuchel, I can understand.
Yeah,
we'll probably have to keep that in mind that Chelsea's like the manager. But yeah,
I keep forgetting that he's come now to Chelsea. But yeah, I mean now possibly things can change. But in the long run, I wasn't like, oh, that's the best place for him to go. I just didn't feel that transfer. But still, he's a quality player. He's earned that respect over the years at City. So I would definitely put him in B, just out of sort of respect for his for what all he's done in the Premier League.
Fair enough. I would say late A, just because for that price it was a steal, and the quality that you're getting is insane. And he's still relatively young. I wouldn't say he's young, but he's relatively quite young, and he's got a lot more football in him. The next one is another player that I feel deserves to be in that sort of A category, Gabriel Jesus to Arsenal. I feel Arsenal so required a striker, someone with that winning mentality. Lacazette wasn't working. Aubameyang had gone, and I feel like Jesus with City, he's not really been that prolific goal scorer, but he's always there in the right place at the right time. And towards the end, I feel like last year he was getting into some great form. And for Arsenal, I think that's a step up he had. I think he's a huge step up from Lacazette, the current Arsenal Lacazette. And he was definitely, and Aubameyang's not this. I don't think and he's definitely better than Nketiah and the lot there. So for a striker, they needed a striker. They've got a Premier League winner from Manchester City, and they haven't paid that much as well. And he's still young. So for me, I think A probably more than Sterling. For me, I think in terms of just the quality and everything else there. And I just want to know if you guys agree with me, Sharat. I see you nodding your head. So would you agree with me there?
Yeah, I also think so. Right before like Sterling. So because Jesus only, the price was a sort of bargain, and now he has scored most top goals in Premier League until now. So as you said, Arsenal wanted that sort of striker, Lacazette, Aubameyang, or off-field issues. Lacazette wasn't working, so I really wanted him to like if it wasn't for Aubameyang, like I would rate Jesus more than Aubameyang. So I wanted him to lead for Chelsea. So it was my wish we could have gone for Gabriel Jesus. He was it's like a complete. He's transformed Arsenal's attack into something else, and like everything is ticking for them now. And he's not just back everything, like he ticks all the boxes, back to goal, link up play, and also he can bring that special element in him, dribbling and going past defenders and finishing everything. He's a complete package, and with the price tag also, it's brilliant signing. I think one of the best signings of the summer.
Okay, Aniket, agree?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. In fact, I have him just after Holland. I'm a massive Gabriel Jesus fan. Right from his last 3 months at Palmeiras to get joining Man City, I genuinely rate him so highly. He's had his downtimes at City as well, but when you see what he does, like he mentioned, he's a very good link-up player, very good hold-up player, very good dribbles, good shot creating actions, and of course scores goals. So I mean, I've always been a fan, and he can obviously play off the wings as well. So if Arsenal ever decide at some point they might need a target man, they could shove Jesus wide like City had done for a while. So yeah, I think I'll go just after Holland. So I'm definitely going an A for this.
Okay, Aditya, would you agree on this as well?
For sure, he's definitely added that X factor to Arsenal, especially with Arteta in there. I'm sure it was Arteta's idea to get him in playing under Guardiola, who managed under Guardiola. He knows exactly how to use Jesus in the most optimum fashion, which he has been doing so far in the season. So definitely just after Haaland, as Aniket said, I would definitely put him there. He's top signing.
Okay, fair enough. I would kind of equal it with Chouameni, so fair enough. I put it there. Okay, the next one we've got to is Kunde. So Aditya, take it away. How good of a signing is Kunde?
I mean, I've never had fond memories of Kunde when he was at Sevilla, because I still remember when he threw that ball on Jordi Alba's face in that game, and we didn't get off to the best of relationships with Kunde. But one thing I can tell you is he will throw everything on the line when it comes to defending. Like, he doesn't care what part of his body is on the line. He's going to save that damn ball from going in, and that's what we need in defense right now. Obviously, our defense is a bit. I mean, we've got a solid keeper, but still we are struggling in terms of that wall that we had back in the day with Puyol and Mascherano. That sort of defensive, experience, everything. PK is there, I know, but he's in the twilight years of his career, and we're really going like defense wise.
He's busy with Gavi's mom anyways. So next.
Sorry. What?
He's busy with Gavi's mom anyways.
Listen, bro. I mean, don't go this Gavi like that, bro. He's doing well on the pitch, bro. Let his mom, live a life, bro.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, but anyway, yeah. So I do understand. I think he, in terms of your defense, was quite shocking. I mean, Longley, PK, Umtiti. I mean, come on, those guys are not the kind of defenders you need to have if you're going to be challenging for all the titles in football. So I think a decent buy.
The good thing about Kunde is he's very good offensively as well. He's a good dribbler. He's a strong person. He can hold up play in midfield if required. To be honest, I wouldn't even mind if our defense was like filled up. I wouldn't even mind playing him as a holding midfielder, because he is very good at holding up the ball in the middle of the pitch, and he has decent vision as well, I would say. He's not the worst, So, okay. I mean, Alonso was a shocker. I don't know why we got him. But yeah, we got him fine. But yeah.
But where would you rank him?
I would put him as. I'm thinking, because Rafinha was B, I would put him C.
Okay. Oh, you're still not sold on it yet. Okay.
No, to be honest, no.
Fair enough. Okay, Aniket and Sharat, would you agree with that, with C, or does anyone have a different?
I think it should be B. I think it would be fair to
B or
Kunde.
C. Okay, I'll be happy if you guys decide B, FYI.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Aniket?
So can I? Sorry.
Yeah.
No, can I know what was price tag actually?
Oh, price tag.
Close to 50. Close to 50.
Yeah.
Okay, then it should be B. Proper B, no?
Yeah, I'm B as well. Like Aditya mentioned as well, he's very comfortable on the ball. He actually creates a lot when he plays as a right back or as a centre back. His defensive numbers aren't crazy, but he makes up for that by his reading of the game. And so I'm okay with that 50 million. And yeah, I think Kunde is B.
Okay. All right. Great. So let's move on to now Christian Romero from Spurs. Now, wasn't he there last year as well for Spurs?
He was on loan. Yeah, he was on loan. Yeah.
Okay. And he was quite good for them, if I recall right. I think he was one of their better players. And I just want to know, it's again around the same 50 odd or 40 odd million mark. Aniket, what do you make of that deal?
I like it a lot. Again, I just need to be fair. I think we have to go B again. If you've given Kunde a B, I think he's a B as well. Again, just very good passer out of the back, very good defensive numbers again. And he adds a bit of that shithousery that Spurs, I feel, need, and that Conte so likes. You saw that moment with Kukurea, of course. But like in general, I feel like he provides a lot of steel to their defense. He kind of covers up pace-wise as well when Eric Dyer is playing centre back. So I really like the move. I really like the player. He's a starter for Argentina, of course. I'm good with a B.
Okay. Sharat?
Yeah, I'm also comfortable with B because from Atlanta days also he was really brilliant in Serie A.
Yeah.
I think yeah, he was top defender, one of the best defenders out there. So when they signed on loan, like he's been consistent. I don't think he has been put in like downgrade sort of performance. He's been consistent. He's been leader at the back. So since Conte came, three at the back system has been. I think he has been that leader. He's comfortable on the ball. Like he's very good at defending and everything. He's got a strong presence at the back, and it's a solid signing. I think so. It's a proper B.
Aditya, would you agree as well?
Yeah, absolutely. He has that Argentinian blood in his veins, what an Argentinian defender is like. And he, to be honest, reminds me of a Mascherano back during Liverpool days. When he was
Fair
back in
enough.
Liverpool, that sort of a vibe he gives me. And I'm sure he's going to be one to watch for the future.
I was gonna think that you were gonna say he's like a defensive Messi, and I was like, oh, please don't bring him into this. But sure, I can understand. He is that. This one thing like Aniket mentioned that shithousery that Conte loves so much. He brings that, and you need that in a sort of in that defensive role. You need someone who can play around with their food, and I suppose that's what Romero is.
I think at Jose Mourinho's time also he like mentioned in the documentary we can see
Yeah.
the team is too soft. Like we need
Yeah.
some bastards on the pitch. So it was
Yeah.
lacking.
Some
Tottenham was
stereo.
lacking. Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
enough. All right, and now we've got Calvin Phillips to Manchester City. Mm, I mean, on paper, a very good buy. I feel for that amount and the fact that Gundo's, I mean, he left. I think. Or did Gundo
No, no,
leave?
he's still there. Still
No,
there.
he's
Yeah,
there.
good one's there.
But he's retiring. I think after this year. I think someone leaving. I think so. I might
Fernandinho.
be mistaken. Fernandinho's
Fernandinho.
left. No, I know Fernandinho left, but I think is Gundo also leaving or something. I read somewhere
Gundogan
that I
had
thought
like
he'd leave.
Gundogan, there were talks of him leaving this season,
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
ended up staying.
Oh, okay, great. So, I mean, in that holding midfielder, I mean, a really good player in Leeds, like Rafinha. I think somebody that was very vital to Leeds United staying up, and a player that a lot of people had kept an eye out for. Him and Declan Rice were like the two defensive midfielders in England that everyone had coveted. And for the price that Man City got, I was a little surprised that they got him for cheap. But I mean, off late he's not really put in crazy performances. But that again, I mean, sometimes his work does go unnoticed. So I'm not sure. For me, it's like a C. I'm not really sure where he fits in. He's definitely for the long term, but right now I don't know where exactly he is. So C for the long term and for the price, but for the performances of late, it's not really been eye catching. So C, waiting to see what he does. Aniket, would you agree?
I would say
Probably.
probably a late B. I quite like him. He's a really good presence when it comes to protecting a back four, but also of late I feel like he's tidy on the ball without being too exceptional. But I think that's something he'll have to learn from. He'll have to get in his game because I feel there's definitely going to be a chance where Pep is going to be like, okay, we need to play two defensive midfielders, maybe to shore up a game, or maybe even to start against certain big opposition teams. And just for the fact that they've taken him away from so many rival clubs who could have used the defensive midfielder for
Yeah.
just 40 million, I think it's a late B for me. Manchester United,
Okay.
Chelsea, there's a lot of teams. Liverpool as well could have
Yeah.
used him maybe in a further attacking role. So I think 40 million is fine. It's a good price. I think B's okay.
Okay. Aditya?
Yeah, he as you said, instrumental in that league season, keeping them up last season, and he also made a big difference to the English side during the
Yeah.
Euros. He
I do have to
was
agree, yeah.
instrumental in them reaching the final. As you said, he's like, there's a saying about Busquets. If you see the game, you don't see Busquets, but if you see Busquets, you see the game. So he's
Yeah.
like that for me. He controls the midfield. He has huge potential in the future, and I think 40 million is a bargain because in 2 years' time he's going to be worth 80 to 90 easy, I would say.
Yeah, I guess for resale value, it's definitely great as well to have. Sharat, so B as well from
Yeah, B
you.
from me as well.
Okay. Where in B would you say, Aniket? I'm asking you, where would it be?
Um, Probably somewhere near the end.
Yeah, at the
Okay.
end.
So I'll put him
Yeah.
here
I think
after.
at the
Yeah,
extreme end, Rafinha should be better.
yeah. I mean both
Also plays
as
well.
equal.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Spurs player
All right.
last.
Yeah. Okay. And now, of course, we've come to the all important Robert Lewandowski. Is that a name?
Of course
I
it
mean,
is.
that's got the
Yeah, it's
only
got to
thing
be.
that, but where in A now? Because he is old, free transfer. So, whatever. So that's not free, but how much
It's
did you pay
50
for him?
million.
50
50
mil.
million. Yeah. Sorry, not free. That was to buy. So they, yeah. So 50 million, but okay. So, yeah. The only thing now, so Naeem says B. We all know why.
What? Listen, the shithousery behavior of Madrid fans isn't allowed on such decent platforms.
No, but his logic is too pricey, quite old. Now I get that quite old. Like he is a short term solution for Barcelona, and 50 million for that. I mean, we've kind of like we've said 50 million was high for
Top
players that
scorers.
were much younger.
He's one of the top scorers in the top 5 European leagues this season at
That's
that
yes,
age.
that's the thing. But I feel like he, even if he's pricey, he's worth the money. But old, I don't know, man. I'd put him
I
in
think
A,
if
but
we
at the
look at this
end.
way, if Benzema is leaving, obviously he'll be going for 50 million now. So I think, yeah. So
I think
Yeah.
it's a
obviously, I
fair
don't
price.
think we should put, yeah, yeah, fair price. I don't think we should put too much thought into price. I think still
Okay,
he's at
fine.
that fitness level, everything is at that prime level. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
Fair enough. How old is he? 33?
33,
yeah,
30,
yeah,
around that
30,
much.
34? So got
yeah,
what? A
yeah.
couple of years more, I think.
But I've come on this podcast and said many times before that he's in the Cristiano Ronaldo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic can play until he's like 35, 36 easily
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the top level, and
As
I
long
think
as he
that's.
doesn't miss chances like that day. But yeah,
I mean that can
it
happen from
happens.
time to
Yeah,
time.
it happens.
But yeah, I guess it's about getting into this position. He's got a flawless injury record. He basically does
True.
everything. I really like him. I still like him. I wanted him to leave. I'd be honest with that because 50 million for a player with 1 year left in his contract, 2033 is a bit of money. But you can't deny. And there's a bit of confirmation bias as well. He started so well at Barcelona, so I think you can go with a late A.
Yeah. The thing is, yeah, you say that you wanted him, but the thing is, like even for Madrid, right, selling Cristiano Ronaldo for 100 odd million, great, but it's somewhat to get back to sort of replace him, replace those goals, not replace him, the striker. You'll get strikers, fine, but to replace the number of goals that he scores, that's the key thing. And we've seen for Barcelona, he's already on a good streak of scoring. He scored a hat trick in the Champions League
Champions
game,
League,
or
yeah.
no, not was the
Yeah, in the
Champions League game
Yeah,
or La
Champions League.
Liga?
Yeah.
Yeah, Champions League. Yeah, and so I think in terms of value for money, definitely. But I was just questioning the age, how many years he still got. But like you mentioned, I think I've never heard him sort of been on the sidelines for too long, so he seems to have kept his fitness quite well. So, but I'd say late A, maybe past Sterling,
Yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Okay.
would put him
Fine.
after. Who's the last one in A? I can't see
Sterling,
properly.
Sterling.
Raheem,
Sterling.
Raheem. Sterling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put him just after that.
All right, great. So we're down to the last two, and this one is sort of an unknown to me. Matheus Nunes to Wolverhampton Wanderers from Sporting,
Sporting.
or was
Yeah.
it Sporting?
Sporting
Yeah.
Lisbon, yeah.
So what do you guys make of it? I mean, of course, another Portuguese player added to Bruno Lager's team, another Portuguese player added to Wolverhampton. They might as well be playing in the Liga NOS with the number of homegrown players, Portuguese homegrown players that they have there.
Yeah.
But what do you make? I think as a central attacking midfielder, someone that Wolves probably needed. Even we were looking at him, and I don't know what his numbers are and how valuable he is. But what do you guys make of it? So, Sharat, any thoughts on
Yeah, yeah.
Nunes?
I think, yeah, he should be a C because he's got a nice reputation. I think City also slightly looked at him for replacing, like, before going for Calvin Phillips. I don't think he's sort of a holding midfielder. He's an attacking midfielder. For Wolves also, it's a great sign. It's a very good signing because Moutinho and everybody, Neves, they've been sort of for so long and they wanted a little bit of presence. And I think Dendoncker left to. Uh,
Yeah, he
I think,
left
yeah,
it.
he
Yeah, I didn't know
left.
him left.
He left.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he left from Wolves. So yeah, Nunes is a like he's got a nice
Aston
reputation,
Villa.
and Wolves it should be they should be fortunate to have him. So I think it's C. C will be great.
Okay, Aditya.
I have no clue who he is. I would go with whatever you guys decide.
All right, great. Aniket.
I think it's a C from me. I quite like him actually. The reason like they spent 45, able to spend 45 million on him is because they got close to 45 to 50 million from Nottingham Forest for Morgan Gibbs White, and that's why they were able to spend money. And what Wolves fans, what I've heard online is that they just want someone who's a good player, who can beat the press, who's a good passer, and he's got all
And
of this.
who
And
is in
yeah, their
who's on?
policy, their transfer policy is more
No,
restrictive
no.
at this point than Athletic Bilbao. They signed more. If I'm not wrong, they have more Portuguese players than Sporting now. So
Possibly. And
yeah,
they all have to be under Jorge Mendes's
yeah,
agency.
probably. He's basically their de facto sporting director now. But yeah,
Exactly.
he's a good. And I think they were accounting for the fact that Jao Martino's getting older. If in fact, I think they also counted Ruben Neves leaving. If you remember the last game of last season, Ruben Neves was in tears, and I think they
Yeah,
thought that he was going to leave. So overall,
yeah,
it's worked
United
out well for them.
were
Yeah.
after.
So
Yeah,
I would go early C, probably the first C.
yeah, I was thinking the same.
Yeah, I
The
think the
right,
Bernardo Silva was also close to leave. He was like
yeah,
flirting with Barcelona,
Hmm.
and I
and for
think
us,
the
Keita
replacement. I
was also
think
close. So yeah,
I think the name I think I heard was Sport Nunes replacing Bernardo Silva in number 8 position. So
yeah,
he's
yeah.
C will be
All right,
better.
and the next one's another surprise. Lucas Paqueta to West Ham United. Not the team that I thought he would end up in. Um, Aniket, I want to know your thoughts on this. It's a weird
I
buy. I
was
can't
I
really
was
see
really
David
surprised.
Moyes. Yeah,
Yeah,
can't see
I was
him
really
in a David Moyes
surprised
team.
with this. Yeah, I thought that this smells of a transfer that okay, none of the bigger clubs have gone for him, so let's just try and take a punt, and it seemed to work. And I rate him a lot. His second half of last season wasn't the best, and there are times when he can be inconsistent. But when he plays in midfield, he's got brilliant defensive output. He's a very good progressive passer as well, and he's a regular for Chiche's Brazil as well with Fred and Casemiro.
Yeah,
So I think it's an A. Just after Lewandowski. The only thing I would say is that David Moyes needs to change the system. They need to be a lot more progressive when they have the ball. When like Jared Bowen and I don't know Lanzini and Benrahma and Scamacca or Antonio, they need to be more progressive. There's no point playing Paqueta as a 10/8.
yeah. That's why I'm a little bit unsold by it. I mean, it's a good buy as a player, but in a David Moyes system, the way he's been playing, I mean, it's not. I know they've lost Mark Noble. I thought they'd get a replacement for him, but I think they're happy with Declan Rice. I don't know if they might have gotten. I'm not too sure, but to get an attacking midfielder like Paqueta seems to be that they're hopefully moving to a more progressive, more attacking style of play.
Hopefully.
They had. I mean, Jared Bowen's aggressive. You've had Antonio who's aggressive. They have players who are like that, but it's just that too many times they kind of start like that and then they tend to sit back later on when they're
Mhm.
kind of happy with it. So hopefully with Paqueta they start to be a lot more attack minded
Yeah.
throughout. Um, I would you say A. I would probably put him B. Early-ish. I mean, middle of the park B. But Sharat, what do you think of
I
Paqueta?
think I don't know much about, but think it should be in C because not much clubs were behind him. If I'm not wrong, like if he's that rated, but I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
think he was.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think no major club was behind him, top 6 clubs or any other clubs from
can't
major
recall.
leagues. Yeah, only West Ham was behind him. The deal went through so quickly, and also I think if I'm right, like I heard it, I didn't see his game so much. He was under dip, like the hype he got in the like when he first came onto the scene.
Mm.
He had a bit in form and something. Yeah, that's why I'm like more aligning to C rather than B.
Okay, and Aditya?
Paqueta, again, he has that Brazilian DNA in him. His flair, his dribbling style, he's got that swag when he dribbles, the style of play. Neymar rates him very highly. When Neymar, even though he's Brazilian, but Neymar doesn't rate every Brazilian that
He's had
highly.
one too many.
Sorry?
He's had one too many.
No, but honestly, that he
No,
is
but yeah.
a playmaker. He makes things happen. I saw him the first few games that West Ham's played. I saw him. He looks quite composed, solid on the ball. He's very in Premier League, you need that. Who rules the Premier League right now? Man City. Why? Because they have possession. As they say in Catalonia, in La Masia, they say when you have the ball, you have more chance of scoring because you have it. The longer you have the ball in the game, and that's the sort of philosophy that he plays with, keeping the ball, dribbling, and as you said, more direct. Moyes is definitely transitioning into a more direct sort of gameplay now. They realize that at the end of the day, the games are getting so close, and it's going to come to goal differences at the end of the season, and that may be whether to survive or to win the season. And Moyes is definitely changing for that, and Paqueta is definitely a good addition to West Ham because they're to the top, to be honest. They're going up now.
So where are you putting him though?
I would put him B. He's not.
Yeah.
He's not. You can't compare him with the Lewandowski or a Haaland, but that's what I would definitely put him a tier below them, or somewhere in between.
Put him there. All right. Great. So that's how it looks like. So we're finally done with 20 players. We have none of the top 20 transfers we've said are flops, but I think the C's could be F's in due course. Any of these players could end up being flops, but I mean, we're only 2 months into the season, so we really don't know. Probably we'll come back to this at the end of the season and see what's actually true, what's actually not. So Nair wants to do a quick one. So the quick ones are Mane, Dybala, and Rudiger. So good question by. Okay, so Nair, so how is Mane not in the top 20? We did it by value. So these are the top 20 by value. So Mane, unfortunately, we didn't sell him for too much. So yeah, I wish we could got a lot more from Mane. But yeah, a quick thing on Mane. A good signing for you guys, Aniket?
Yeah, I like it. Considering the price point, one thing you have to say is that you need to play to his strengths, and we didn't do that against Barca. He kind of played on the left wing. I think his best position is when we play a 4-2-2-2, and he has a partner alongside him. That's when he's at his best. He's got striker-like instincts, and he's a decent creator. So I would say probably a B, because he's not an out-and-out Lewandowski replacement, but he'll take some load off his goal scoring.
Yeah, the number of goals has sort of dipped. Even in Liverpool, he was this whole second striker, the striker role, the false nine role that he's played was only came into being probably second half of last year when we had Luis Diaz who could take over Mane's role at left wing. Left wing is great, but he needs then someone like a Firmino, someone else who could link up. He needs to be fluid. He can't be stuck in left wing. He is very fluid in his movement. He does tend to move to the striker position. So, like you said, having a second striker, a partner with him that would help. He has got off to a good start, but the thing with Mane is that he does have moments of bad performance or bad patches where he's not really effective, and he does need to get his shooting boots can go missing at times. So there are matches where there are seasons or there are games where he is unbeatable. There are games where he's incredibly frustrating because he gets to the perfect position, but the finishing needs to improve a little more. He seems to always slip for some reason whenever he shoots the ball. So he needs to probably stay on his feet.
But
the next one's
still he's
Dybala.
World class category, right? I rate him as a world class player.
Yeah, but the transfer itself, I mean, it kind of is a
Without Mane, I don't think like Salah is also up to that mark. Like with Mane and everything, Salah was also like scoring.
In that way, of course.
Yeah.
I'm not taking away. I mean, he was probably one of the most vital players he was the most vital player in our Premier League victory. Overall, those are his weaknesses and strengths. The next one, let's go to Dybala. Aditya, Dybala to Roma under Mourinho, and I don't know what you feel, but I think very inspired sort of by though. I know Juventus has ruined him. I mean, he has stagnated a lot under Juventus, but if anyone can revive him, it's probably Mourinho.
Definitely, Mourinho has that ability to bring out the best in players. That's undeniable. Everyone knows that. He sort of brings out that fighter in you. And Dybala, you're right, like that he's become stagnant at Juventus. He's sort of plateaued. He was supposed to be the next Messi at a point of time. He was that sort of He was put
There
in
we go.
that category. But then now he's plateaued. He's lost. I would say he does need. It was a good move in my opinion because he needed to go in a different direction, and the direction that he moved in now to Roma with Mourinho, I'm sure he's going to ignite that spark back in him, and maybe in the next season or two he may even move to the Premier League. After maybe helping Roma win the Serie A, maybe if they play well enough this season under Mourinho, and then he can go to the
Yes,
Premier League. And I think
Spurs were Spurs were
sorry,
after him, and under Conte, no, Spurs were after him, and under Conte, he was very, very good at Juventus. That was where he started off. I feel like at Spurs he would have done well. They had an issue with image rights or
mm,
something initially when they were trying to buy him. When Pochettino, I think Pochettino wanted to buy him early, or even
yeah.
Mourinho. I might have been between the two.
But to be
So
honest, if he's going to the Premier League, I would rather see him play somewhere like Arsenal because I think under Arteta he would do, and with the kind of players Arsenal has with Odegaard around, he would do
yes.
really well, on that right side.
Possibly, yeah. Fair enough. And let's talk about Rudiger Sharat because he obviously left Chelsea for Real Madrid. What did you make of that? What do you make of him going to Madrid, and what do you make of Madrid's signing him? How will he fit into Madrid's system?
Yeah, talking about his departure to Madrid, like he was our key man. Like he under Tuchel, he was the most improved player, and he went to that level. Like he was obvious that he was in that Champions League winning season, he was world class, if not the best left-sided center back. So he was up to that level. So like seeing him depart from Chelsea. With all that happening, which was all that happening that around the background noises and all, it was so hard to see. And Madrid got a brilliant buy. I don't know if he's like if he's in starting 11 or something. I think Alaba is starting in the left center back.
Yeah,
I think he's yeah. I think in Champions League games or games he's not put his foot up in every games and right now. But he's a brilliant. He's a world class defender right now after Tuchel molded him to that player. Yeah, it's a great
fair
signing by
enough.
man.
All right. Well, I guess Naeem's got his quick one. So, to those of you watching, so that is uh, our tier list, our rankings for the top 20 summer transfers. This will be put up on. Okay, so Naeem saying Militao's injured now. Oh, I didn't know Militao's injured. So he is now starting. So which is great. So he has more opportunities to showcase his talent. But I do agree that under Tuchel towards the end he was showing glimpses of being really, really world class without. Uh, so would Rudiger be an AF ahead of Leva? Oh, he really
Yeah,
doesn't want.
and you should stop.
Uh,
You should stop smoking whatever you're smoking.
uh, Great. Okay, awesome. So anyway, let's end this off. So we've got the tier list. This will be posted on social media so people can see and people can comment on what their thoughts are on this. And if they have any differing thoughts, you can let us know either on Twitter or on Instagram when I post this. But apart from that, I guess that's all that we have for this particular episode. So thank you, Sharat, Aniket, and Aditya, for being a part of this podcast. And thank you for Naeem for adding that extra bit of spice to the conversation. I'm glad we could have you on here. We originally intended to have it for 1 hour, but this definitely extended to a 2 hour event. And yeah, it was really fun talking to you guys, getting your thoughts on it. It was really, it was a lot of fun, and I can't wait to host you guys soon. So thank you, and yeah, I'll see you all soon.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye guys. Take care.
And to those of you who are watching this podcast live, or if you're watching this later on, please do hit the subscribe button. You can also like, comment, and share the podcast. You can also follow the audio podcast on any of the platforms where you listen to your podcast, like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're everywhere over there. We're on YouTube as well. So share, get people to listen to the podcast, watch us. And if you want to be a part of the podcast as well, you can let us know either on Instagram or on Twitter. The links are all on the description, as well as you can see it on the screen. So those are our ads. So yeah, I guess that's about it for episode 1 of this It's Classified Season 2 series. I'm your host, Praddy, once again. You stay safe and see you.